morning, everybody. Whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world, this is Coast to Coast. Philly's on whatever he's doing, but what's happening, Herb? How you doing today?
I don't know. I feel a little more relaxed. My coffee tastes a little better. It's a little hotter this morning. I don't know. Something is different, and I just feel like it's going to be a great day. I don't know what it is, though.
I mean, it might be Philly's gone. It might be that we have a great guest today. And so he's in a little bit of a different time zone. He played professional football over in the UK and has been coaching after that. We have the NFL Academy's own Jack Farr. What's happening, Coach?
Hey, great to be here. You got a great voice for radio, both of you. So I'm super happy to be here.
I appreciate that.
My wife thinks I have a great face for radio too, but
the thing that's funny is, once I get on camera, I get rolling. My wife tells me that sometimes after I leave the studio, I will come up and I will still be in my announcer type voice. And she's like, calm down. It's still the morning.
Nothing like the spousal support of
yeah, exactly. Just shut it down. But of course it's it's super early here on the West Coast, but it's midday for you.
2:00 in the afternoon. I've been rolling since 6 a.m. your time, trying to make our team better. So it's like the midday break for me.
Perfect. Well, I mean, we might as well kick it off with exactly that, because a lot of people don't really not know what the NFL Academy is about, but they also don't even know that it exists.
Yeah, we get that a lot. Just to give everyone a overview, the NFL Academy, we're an elite international high school. We're based in Loughborough, which is in the United Kingdom. It's somewhere around Birmingham, Nottingham, those famous places, but it's a really little small town. It's home of the #1 sports university in Europe, so it's a big, big sports town. Bunch of Olympic teams come and train here. We had USA women's rugby here over our summer camp last year. But we're based here. We're bringing kids from 22 different countries this year to play on a high school football team. We play the top European teams. We play American high schools. We played IMG, St. Thomas Aquinas. We played some awesome teams and some awesome games this year. So, we're about taking kids in that kind of sophomore to senior to super senior high school age, trying to get them NCAA opportunities and scholarships. That's what we're all about here.
Oh, okay. So this isn't. So this is high school kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They look like grown men. Some of them, trust me. Honestly, we got some big dudes. The smallest guy on our offensive line is 6'4", and that's our center. And we got 12 of these guys. So we got we're different.
Yeah. No, for sure.
I'm 45. I'm still trying to hit that 6 foot mark.
Yeah, I'm never getting there, but I accept that a long time ago, so that's all right.
Yeah. And I was just looking through. So, and kind of like Bo, before we're researching it for this, I didn't realize like the ages and stuff of everything you do. So you mentioned you've been up since 6. Like, what is a typical day for you like with them right now?
So, at the academy, our schedule kind of follows what a college yearly schedule looks like. We play our main season from late August all the way through to early November. We played 10 games this year. We're hoping to play 12 or 13 next year in the fall. We're not under any restrictions in terms of how much we can practice. So like in America, you're not allowed to put on shoulder pads and helmets for a certain time period every year in high school and in college. We don't have those limitations. So we train all the way through January, all the way through to May, where we have our summer break. We have different periods throughout the year in which we're focusing on different things. Through the summer, all the way through the fall, we're in full football all day, all week. Okay. Obviously, our kids have school, but our practice is around 90 minutes to 2 hours, and we're in full shoulder pads and helmets. We're whacking each other. We're having a good time. Throughout January and March, it kind of shifts a little bit because we don't have, we're out of the season. And now we're focusing on our athletic development more than anything. Our S&C department kind of takes over practice a little more. We're doing more running, more lifting, more sprinting. We use all the amazing facilities we have here at Loughborough, and we're just trying to develop our kids athletically. We have an internal combine in which we'll run the 40, 5, 10, 5, L cone, all of the stuff they'll eventually do at American summer camps, like kind of recruitment mega camps. We start getting them ready for that. Then we have what we're in now, which is a kind of mini season. We have 2 spring games. We played Schwäbisch Hall Unicorns, who are out of Germany. They're a youth team out of Germany. We played them 2 weeks ago. We'll play a French team in about 4 weeks. So we're back into more football focus. So our kids get another 6 weeks of full go football practice. And then after our spring season's over, we'll get back into prepping our kids who are going to go to those mega camps in the US over the summer. So our days are, we're in the office around I get in early, but, we're in anywhere from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. all the way through until 6 p.m., 7 p.m. So, we're as intense as some college football coaches are.
No, that makes sense. And I mean, you were talking about recruiting from all over. Mm-hmm. It's funny because I was thinking these were college age kids for whatever reason.
Because they look like college age kids, probably.
Yeah.
That's why.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I definitely didn't in high school, but
times have changed though, man.
No question. So how does recruiting work then? Because that actually has to be trickier with that age group.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we recruit largely in the same way that colleges recruit, to be honest.
Right.
We recruit from all over the world. We have multiple different avenues to become aware of players. Firstly, searching Twitter, searching Instagram. Twitter is the big thing for our North American recruits from Mexico and Canada. Instagram's really the bigger platform for European athletes more than anything. So we have to be present on both. These last 2 years are the first years we've recruited out of Mexico and Canada. Our quarterback's Canadian. We have two of my running backs are Canadian, and we have a 2028 defensive lineman that's Canadian. Sorry, not American, Canadian. And we have some Mexican players as well on our team. We have more Mexican players joining next year as well. We recruit from everywhere, every single country in the world that is not the United States of America. That's officially what we're allowed to do, essentially. Wow. So our team is, comprised of a lot of countries here, a lot of languages, which is fun.
So you can't actively recruit from the U.S., but can you have U.S. students or? No,
we cannot have anyone who has a United States passport. They cannot play for us. We're a wing of the NFL international marketing program, essentially. Sometimes.
I got you. Yeah. No, I mean, it makes sense, because I was thinking of the way the German football league and of course European football leagues were, where they could only have, depending on the league, 2 or maybe 3 U.S. players on the entire roster.
Yep.
So I was curious if there was something within that, like you could have 1 or 2, but just none at all. That's crazy.
Hey, I mean, that would be cool. I mean, that would be really cool. But no, we believe in the power of international football. We believe that we've got some of the best high school football players eventually are going to come from outside of the US. We have our 27 left tackle is a 4-star, Nico. He's decided he's got Michigan, Alabama, Georgia, all these great offers. Had a 3-star this year, Bruno Werner, who's going to play tackle at Boston College. We got Luca Wolf, who just committed, who's now at Tennessee. He went there in the spring. He's a tight end from Austria. So, we got some incredible talent outside of the US. Our quarterback has Division I offers now. He got Bryant and he's got Ferris State. And, Ferris State are basically a Division I football team. Playing in Division II. They're really good. So, he's going to get, we're going to get more offers rolling in this spring and this summer as well. So, we really believe that there's a lot of great football players outside of the US just waiting to be discovered and then waiting to be given this pathway and the exposure that we get our guys, to get those offers, which is the biggest thing, the biggest reason why players want to come to the NFL Academy is because of that exposure. And there's a proven pathway here to get an NCAA opportunity.
For sure.
I laughed because Joe here is from Italy, but he's an Alice fan. And he's like, if you need an owner, you can just have Jerry Jones.
I'm good.
wouldn't do that.
Honestly, I'm good, man. I'm going to pass up on that one. You guys can keep him. United States of America, you guys can keep Jerry Jones.
Yeah. Well, if you want exposure, he's good for that. But everything
that's
else,
true.
That is true.
Maybe
Everyone
not so
would know.
much. Yeah.
Everyone would know what the academy was after that.
Yeah.
So with the NFL kind of playing more games overseas, has that kind of helped what you guys do and help get more exposure that way? Have you seen an uptick in that at all?
Oh, absolutely. Our recruiting kind of comes from two kind of pools of talented players. You get players that have played football before and they're already in some kind of club system in Europe, be that Germany, Austria, both have very strong youth setups. Mexico and Canada obviously have really strong youth programs at high school level and junior college level. But then you also get a lot of talented athletes from other sports. For example, we convert a lot of rugby players. We convert basketball players. We convert handball players. Handball's really big in Europe. They're big, strong athletes as well. And, they will see our combines being advertised in their hometown, in their country. And they say, hey, I watched this. I feel like I could do this. I'm going to go apply and I'm going to go work out for them. And, we get a lot of players that, honestly, we're attached to a high school, and I'll walk down the corridor in our high school and I'll see a kid and I go, hey, I don't know who you are, but you got to come try out for our team. And I was like, have you ever heard of football? He's like, yeah, I saw this team playing. I saw the Broncos play the Jets in London last year. So I was like, oh, great. Come try out. I'm sorry you had to watch that game because it was terrible, but come try out anyway.
I do feel bad for the international series a little bit because they very rarely put our better games over there.
Yeah.
Like it's usually absolutely. Like the Jags and Atlanta, or, it's a game where you're just like,
For me though, like I totally get it because like, I think growing up in the UK, being a soccer fan, football fan for everyone else, like being a soccer fan, you grow up religiously supporting your home team, and you have such an affinity to that club team. Like I got my club team tattooed on me, like and you grow up, and the thought of my team playing a game in another country, a regular season game, to me is just so ridiculous to think about as a person who, especially with the tradition of most soccer clubs in the UK were originally factory teams and church teams in the 1800s. And now they're, you compare that to, obviously the NFL is very different. They're multi-million-dollar franchises, billion-dollar franchises even. So they can, they want to expand their fan base. But to me, it is just a little bit wild when I sit down and think about it, because you would just never do that with a UK soccer team ever. That would never even, maybe you play a preseason friendly, but you would never play a regular season game in another country.
Right.
I mean, not even in another city, not even 10 minutes down the road from your home stadium would you do that. So, to me, that's a little bit wild.
I mean, the Jags makes a little bit of sense because the owner owns one of the stadiums in London. So, I mean, like that one I can kind of wrap my head around. It's losing a home game, I think, is where people have an issue, right?
I totally get it. Yeah. I'm totally with it from those people's point of view. Like if I only got to see 8 games of the Broncos and you're going to tell me that I only get to see 7 now because they're going to go and play in London. It's like, especially like if you were a diehard Broncos fan and you traveled all the way to London to watch your team, you will see all 32 NFL jerseys and probably all 136 college football jerseys at that stadium. You'll be looking around like what is this? It doesn't even feel like a Broncos game now. But what it's done for football internationally cannot be understated. The NFL International Series has brought what I think football is the best game in the world. I don't even think it's even slightly close to any other sport. Not even like everything it teaches you or everything it can teach you or reveal about yourself, both as a player, as a coach, as an administrator, all the elements of it. I just think it needs to be brought every year to more people all around the world because it's just a beautiful, beautiful game.
No, you're absolutely right. Because I mean, it's from a marketing standpoint, they had to do it. Right. Like the US market is as saturated as it can be.
Right.
So going international makes all the sense in the world. And the fact that they don't put our best games, because each city only gets one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it could be the worst game ever. It's going to sell out.
Yeah.
So,
every year.
You don't have to worry about anything like that. I mean, that's like when soccer comes to the US and it's one of the major stars. It could be the worst game ever. It's going to sell out because people don't get to see those stars regularly. And so, yeah, I mean, it's part of it. I did kind of chuckle when you said converting basketball players to football, because usually it goes the other way around.
Yeah.
Usually a football player gets hit really hard and then decides basketball is the sport for them.
Yeah. No, I hear that one a lot. But I mean, I just told you about Luca, who's at Tennessee. He was a basketball kid. Never played football. He was actually playing basketball in the US at a high school, and he was in Austria. He came to one of our combines, and we went, "Hey, you're going to have a pathway within football." And hey, we were in largely 12 personnel last year, and he was knocking the living whatever out of St. Thomas Aquinas and IMG, and we were running the ball at will. And I'll say that live. That's okay. But he was a guy that definitely found his home within football. He's a great athlete. He's a big, freaky athlete, but he's also a violent person. I'm doing a really good job of censoring myself. He's a violent person.
Our radio audience appreciates that.
That's good. Because when he puts his hand in the dirt and he gets a double team back to -1, he's gonna knock him back, and it's awesome. We converted a couple guys like that actually.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. So, good.
No, I was going to say I might be going backwards. How did you get started with the NFL Academy and getting into this?
Oh, the academy itself started, and I've only been here for 12 months, but the academy itself started in 2019, I believe, right before COVID. Now, there's kind of been two iterations of the NFL Academy. There was the NFL Academy that was in Southgate Barnet, which is in London, kind of North London. And that was a much smaller version of the academy. It had, less funding, and it was a largely British team. It was partnered with a college. So college in the UK refers actually to 16 to 19 education. So it partnered with a high school. It moved all of its operations to Loughborough in, I want to say 2022 or maybe late 2021. And then from then on, it started growing a little more. It became more international. It kind of we've completely outgrown competition in Europe now. And I think that happened when the academy moved to Loughborough. We had a big transition from the first ever head coach was a really, really, really well-known and accomplished British coach called Tony Allen, he was a coach in NFL Europe. He had coached the number one UK team, the London Warriors, for a long, long, long time. I think he still does. And then Coach Steve Hagan was hired. Coach Hagan is former NFL coach with the Browns and the Jets, coached at UNC, coached at Notre Dame. We got Chris Durham, who is our general manager. He's played for the Seahawks, played for the Detroit Lions. He was drafted in the 4th round, played at Georgia. And then we got our director of operations, Alison Wyeth, who had worked at a number of kind of British national governing bodies for a long time in athletics. She's a 2-time Olympian. And we got that kind of trio of leadership came together, and now it's started to grow each year. Our recruits have gotten better each year. Our competition, our games gets better each year. Our funding gets better each year. So it just kind of grew and grew and grew. But that first iteration of the NFL Academy, 2019 to 21, looks very different, I think, to now 22 to 26, where we're at now.
So, so how do you book games? It being, I imagine you're playing other high schools, so I imagine the talent disparity is massive.
In terms of they're better than us or we're better than them?
I would imagine you guys are better than them, right? Because
we play good teams. Like we play really, really, really good teams. In the last 2 years, we played 8 games. We're 2-6 against high schools, which obviously is not where we want to be. It's not where we're going to be going forward. But we play. For example, we played 4 teams this year. We played the Hun School out of Princeton, New Jersey. They had the number 1 high school player in the whole country, Luke Waffle, who's at USC now. He's the guy that you might have seen on Twitter. He looks like the Hulk. And he looked exactly like that when we played him. He was just a 6'6", 250, just pure muscle, about 0% body fat. You know, they had some great players. Their quarterback's a 4-star 28 prospect. They had their DM went to Rice. Their middle linebacker went to, I think, Buffalo. You know, they had a number of really high-level FBS recruits. Played them in Dublin, Ireland, of all places, at a annual football festival they hold every year. Beat those guys, I think it was 34-21, something like that. Anyway, had a really good opening game. Then the next week, we fly out to Edgewater, Florida, because we had a pre-existing relationship with the Edgewater Eagles, really good team out of Florida. We got our how do I say this? We got our butts whipped pretty much badly. We lost 42-7, and they were just fast. They were just so fast. And, you know, there's a lot of things we didn't do right on that trip. We didn't prepare very well. We didn't, you know, from a coaching point of view, I know that I didn't do a good job preparing my guys. You know, we're all accountable in our organization, but, you know, they just had so much speed that we didn't have. It's one of the biggest disparities, I think, between those really good Florida, Georgia, Alabama, you know, Texas football teams versus anywhere in Europe is, like, we have size. We have big dudes. Like, our team comes off the bus and it's scary. Like, we have multiple guys. We probably have 10 guys over 6'6", 6'7", right? But the speed at the skill position is one of the things. Like, we don't have 10 guys that run a 4.5. Like, we have maybe 3 guys that run that fast. So, you know, when they get to the edge on offense, or for us, you know, when we're in the open field, we're struggling to run away from guys. We're struggling to contain the quarterbacks that are running those, you know, those low 4.5s, 4.4s. And Chuck, God, why am I just start talking, man. You guys got to stop me.
This is great for us.
We played those first 2 games. We played then about four weeks of European teams at our home base in Loughborough, so we didn't need to travel anymore. Then we played St. Thomas Aquinas, obviously one of the best high school programs in the US. They've had 20 draft picks in the last 10 years or something ridiculous like that. Both the Bosa brothers went there. Okay. Bunch of other big dudes went there. Right. We played those guys at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which is a big 60, 70,000 seater stadium that the NFL plays most of its international series at in the UK. Played them, lost 38-41. Like, we're that close, you know, super close against one of the best teams. Appreciate it, JT. Appreciate it, man. And then we went and played next week. Went and played IMG, obviously the number 1 team, or one of the number 1 teams in the US. And we lost. What did we lose? 41-24. We had them. We were close. We were within 1 score for a lot of that game, but you know, just couldn't finish it out really. So in terms of how we're trying to book those games, back to your original question, I have no idea. I just coach the tailbacks, but I know that it's a struggle. I know that it's hard every year. You know, that's more our upper leadership people that deal with that. But they do an unbelievable job of getting us an incredible schedule every year. Like, we know we're going to play IMG again next year in Bradenton, and Marietta, which is a high school out of Georgia, have committed to coming over and playing us in their version of week 0. We play a lot of these schools very early or kind of later on, because for a lot of them, we will be not for a lot, for everyone, we're a non-division, non-conference opponent, obviously. We don't have a conference, unfortunately. We'd love to compete in a conference every year, but fortunately we can't.
Well, and that's why I asked, you know, how it is scheduling, right? Because, you know, we have a couple of colleges. Notre Dame always comes to mind because they're not within a conference for their football team, and they always complain about, you know, how hard it can be to schedule games because everyone else has conference play, and a loss is a loss, even if it's within your conference or not. So some of those schools are reluctant to add you to a schedule, and so I was curious if you ran into that.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously there's a big financial element to this because it's not just going across the county to play a team in a different county, or it's not just hopping across one state. We're playing teams that have the financial resources to either host us or to come over and play us. And it's thousands and thousands of pounds to be able to, or dollars to be able to travel 80 to 90 people across the ocean, host them for a whole week. Because especially with that kind of trip, you're not just landing, playing and going home. You're landing, spending 2 or 3 days acclimated and practicing to the new time zone and then going back. So, you know, there's that. You know, one of the things that teams have interest with now is, you know, the UK and Europe has a load of different religious sites that are very interesting for a lot of Catholic high schools. So I know when St. Thomas came over, they visited a bunch of different religious sites around the UK as part of their trip here. For example, like, you know, we're going to play potentially a team in Paris that'll want to come over, and, you know, around the NFL game in Paris, we may be able to get a game there because the team wants to go visit Lourdes and Fatima and all these different sites of religious apparitions in France. So, you know, there's all different avenues that we go down to try and make these games happen. But the guys upstairs make it happen, and I'm very grateful for it, as are the running backs. So that's kind of how I view it.
So, go ahead. Good.
No. Well, I mean, when you're grabbing these kids from all over, is it ever tough kind of integrating everybody, getting everybody on the same page, you know, with all the different backgrounds? And like, even Canada has a different version of football than, you know, what we're playing.
Yeah. I mean, we rarely, honestly, like we turn over. We're kind of like a JUCO in the fact that we turn over about 50% of our roster every year. So we have a roster of around 65 to 70 kids. About 30 will graduate, and we recruit about 30 every year because many of them will be here for 2 years. Some will only be here for 1 year, most of them 2. And then we really want the guys that we can get for 3 years. That's based on their age. Okay. We really want to get the guys that are here for 3 years because then we get to develop them for 3 years. But in terms of that timeline, like I say, we're like a JUCO because JUCOs turn over players. Their whole roster in 2024 will look a lot different to their roster this year for all those, even the best JUCOs, just because of the timeline of the education. But no, it's a challenge at first. But I always say the strength of our team is the players and how they bond together, because they're all going through the same thing. They're all homesick. They all miss mom. They all miss dad. They all miss their girlfriend. They all miss all their friends. But they all feel the same way. They just lean on each other, you know, for that support. We have a big support network. We have probably 15 full-time people in and around the football program. That's either coaching, we have a sports psychologist, we have a full-time education coordinator, we have full-time S&C director, you know, we have a full-time performance, full-time physios. We have a whole big support system because it is really, really hard to play here and do what we do. Like, especially for a 16, 17, 18-year-old that's away from home maybe for the first time. Like, we tell our kids every year, it's really hard what you're doing here. It's not normal for a 16-year-old to wake up at 6 a.m., go to the gym, recover, go to school, go to practice, go to classroom, football classroom, do homework, and then go to bed every single day for 3 years. But the reward at the end of it, and you know, is the opportunity to go and play college football. And we tell all our kids are not normal teenagers. They're on a different pathway because they have different goals to 99.9% of teenagers in the world. Their goal is to do something that maybe no one from their country's done before. So, you know, like, I think the challenge that they face every day and the intensity and the everything that we put on them and demand of them helps them bond together, because they just get thrown into the fire straight away. We don't warm up. We don't let them acclimate. It's like, for example, they all moved in one day. We're full practice 8 a.m. the next day. There's no warm up. It's just we're going. We're not letting you be in your feelings here. We're just going to work, because that's what the whole season's going to be. Right. That's what they're going to get when they go to college. We're preparing them to play college football. So, you know, we're go straight away. And honestly, that challenge is what helps bond our players together, I think.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. And it's funny because the question I was going to ask was right along those lines, because I was also curious how that works with potential language barriers, because you're grabbing people from all over the world. Yep. I would imagine, I mean, most other countries speak English also, but I imagine you run into scenarios where you probably need some help in that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
My wife can speak multiple languages. I'm an idiot and still learning English. So Like if it's mechanical, I can do it, but apparently languages are tough.
Yeah, no. Part of the visa requirements to be here is you have to pass a language test. So there's a base level of language English ability that you must have to be here, and that's to be on the school courses. Like that's not even to do with football. It don't matter how good of it. Like I haven't recruited some players this year because I didn't think they could pass a course in the UK. So for me, if I'm going to bring them here, I don't want to mess up their education long term because they can't figure it out. The education courses a lot of our kids are on, the high school education in the UK is viewed, and it is, the hardest high school level education in the entire world. Like it's not even that close, I don't think. So, we're bringing these kids here. Yes, they got to do a very complicated football life, but they got to do a very complicated academic life as well. Now, there's I think being in the team and speaking English every day and speaking American English, because that's how we all talk. And within football, like football itself is a completely different language. You can be an English guy, but you can sit in a room in a coach's meeting and not understand a single thing being said because it's a different language. But yes. I remember that when I was a coach at Lafayette College in Pennsylvania, and I've been in football for a couple of years, but I hadn't been in a really high level of football. First time I sat in a defensive meeting and we're watching film, I'm like, what are you guys talking about? What are you saying? Like, but you eventually learn it, and you get more fluent in it. But yeah, no, our kids are forced to speak English every day because firstly, there's 22 different languages on our team. The common one is English. We have Germans that hang out together. We have Canadians that hang out together and speak French, Canadian, and French. But mostly because they mix really well, and we also try not to put two players of the same language in the same dorm rooms, they're forced to speak English. So, and ultimately, like I kind of feel rude forcing our kids to always speak English, but also that's, we always say no Division I college is going to hire a German translator for you to translate the coaching point that the coach says for you on the field. Fair. And there's no way that the quarterback is going to be able to audible to the whole team something and then audible specifically to you in French. So you're going to have to learn English if this is the pathway that you want to take. So, that's the way that America works. We're trying to get our kids to America. That's what we got to do. It's funny, actually, our quarterback, Victor Lechambre, who is French Canadian, comes from Quebec, super, super heavy French accent when he got here. Like his English level was fine. It was just so French, just so French. And for a quarterback, it's kind of important how you communicate a little bit, So a little bit. He's gone for a real learning curve and a real language development that he's undertaken himself, and he's really put a lot of work into it. And now, you hear him communicate. He can communicate in American English really well now, and that's what's helped him get that Ferris State offer, help him get that Bryant offer. That Mississippi Valley State off, because they see, he's a French Canadian quarterback, but he's an American quarterback pretty much.
No, I mean it makes sense, and obviously that is a great teaching point, right? Having those guys rooming together that don't share a native language, because then you're forced to figure out how to communicate. My wife and I lived in Mexico for a little while, and for me, I would be paying attention to context. And the worst part about that is I could figure out what was going on, but it also meant that I was never learning the language, right? Yeah. Because I was searching for context of the conversation and the couple of words I knew. And so then, we lived down there for 2 years, and I got back and I was like, what I can do in Spanish is I can order a beer. Like,
well, that's important. I mean, I always think that's one of the most important things in every language. Like I can do that in Polish and German.
Yeah,
I lived in Poland and Germany, so there you go.
Can I get a drink, and where's the bathroom? Like,
that's right. That's right. The important ones,
Sometimes you don't even have to ask the second one. So there you go.
Yeah, that's
if
right.
You've had enough beer, you probably don't care about the second one. So there you go.
You've been watching you drink all those beers, so they're like, "Oh yeah, it's over there."
There you go. There you go. It's funny. I was at a German coaching conference, kind of like the AFCA, which is American Football Coaches Association conference. they have a big one in Germany every year. It's called the Bavarian Coach, and Bavaria is a region of South Germany, but it's the biggest one in Europe. So you get people from Italy, Austria, Poland, all across Germany. And I was speaking at that conference. I was doing a talk on special teams. My talks were in English, but I went to all the other talks, and pretty much every other one was in German. And I'm sat there trying to figure out what he's saying, but I can hear, because every so often it'll be like German, slam, German, quarterback, German, So it's funny, especially, if you ever listen to like the German broadcasting of the NFL or the German broadcasting of one of our European leagues here, it'll be all German, and then they'll say an American English term for football, almost in an American accent, because that is ultimately how football is taught, to be honest. Like, that's how we kind of get away with it here. And that's what our kids learn, which is important.
No, that makes sense. Before you got to the academy, I've seen that you were a defensive quality control. And the thing that's funny is I played football for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I played, I didn't know what you guys did.
Yeah.
Like, what does the quality control guy do?
We control quality, and our defense was high quality, so I did a good job of controlling it. No, we
So you should be running for office.
Yeah. I mean, we won the Patriot League, so I must have done a good job. No, we quality control, analyst, GA, assistant, they all mean the same thing. And ultimately, for me, it's you have a set number of jobs that you have got to do every week between your entire coaching staff. The more coaches you have, the more you can split out those jobs. The less jobs some of your position coaches have to do, the more you can put on to the less qualified people, like I was there. But we don't have any quality control guys at the academy. We don't have any GAs. That all the jobs that I did, so that's all the data entry for films, all of the call entry. During the games, I was in the booth, and the defensive coordinator, Coach Mike St. Germain, who's been the DC now at Lafayette, I think for 5 years, played at Lafayette. Great guy. One of my favorite coaches I've ever got to work with. He would say after the drive, hey, give me the entire rundown of the drive. So it may be a 10-play drive. And whilst I'm watching the game, I'm not even coaching. I'm staring at the field, writing down the formation that the offense is in, writing down the down and distance in our language that we have as a defense. I'm writing down our play call, communicated via the headsets. Then I'm writing down the play. I'm writing down, trying to put as much information on this sheet as possible. I don't have one. Normally I have one right next to me, but I don't have it. Anyway. And then give me the entire drive. Okay, St. First and 10, they were on Troy Gun Farr near, and they ran inside zone. We called under Florida. And then we just go down 10 plays in a row like that. And then he's clever enough to know what all that means. And then he's like, okay, we may get to a crucial third down. There's a timeout. He goes, hey, what are they doing on third down? Well, I'm looking down my entire game sheet. I've highlighted all the third downs. I'm like, hey, they've been in this formation. They've ran Y cross. Hey, they've been in this formation. They're running flood to the boundary, blah, 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 blah. That was my game day thing that I had to do at Lafayette. Now, during the week, I did a lot of stuff on special teams because I love special teams coaching. It's my favorite part of football. I always joke with people that I'm a special teams coach that tolerates coaching a position on offense and defense. So I did a lot of that, a lot of assistant special teams duties, and then a lot of data entry, any miscellaneous job that needed doing in the office, I just wanted to go and help with. So I spent like 3 hours putting letters into envelopes of boosters and alumni one afternoon, just because I was done with all my football jobs. You do a lot of miscellaneous equipment jobs. Like at Lafayette, we had a whole equipment staff, so it was different. But at the academy, I do a lot of like whatever's needed to help the program move forward. I just try and do it. And that's what a lot of at the big college levels, you'll see QCs, GAs, they have like a whole army of coaches, and they're honestly, I read a great quote in a book. It was, work expands to the time that it's allotted. So essentially you have more manpower, you have more time, you're going to figure out more stuff to do. So honestly, some of the jobs that these QCs and GAs are doing at the FBS level, I have no idea. I could not tell you. They're probably doing some deep dive that I never even would have considered that is going to, because everyone just wants to find an edge. You're trying to find a winning edge every week to help your team get that little bit extra, because everyone's good at the top level. Like, you're trying to find the tiniest detail. Devil's in the details. You either win by details or lose by details. You're trying to find that tiny thing that can help you on one play that helps you through the whole game. So honestly, like, to answer your question, FBS GAs and QCs, man, I don't know what they do, but they do a lot. I'm gonna tell you that they do a lot.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would have imagined in smaller scenarios, I looked at it as they were an assistant coach, but
Yeah.
that's kind of what I was thinking. And some of these huge programs where they have like 50 coaches, you're like, what could you possibly be doing?
Right. Yeah, I know. And, even, in the past, they would have been very big in recruiting, but now they even have armies of recruiting assistants as well.
Yes.
And it's, obviously in college football is pro football now, like at the highest level in terms of the roster management, contracts, money, recruiting. So they have a whole army of personnel department like NFL teams have. You have a coaching staff, you have a personnel department. They're probably the same size and probably pretty similar in kind of, how they divvy out all the different work that they have to do. Some work is it's decision making, it's the final decision makers. Some work is just making sure you have all the data organized so that those decision makers can, easily access it. I think that's what QCs do for a football coach. Is we, generally make everything, make it easy for the coach to coach. Like, that was always my biggest aim, was I wanted to add more value than I'm taking away, essentially. Yeah. So if you can add more value and you can make the coach's life easier, awesome. That's good. That's where we want to be.
Yeah. Here they stop divvying up all the titles and they just call everybody an analyst now when they bring them in. So they just to simplify the whole thing. I think.
And so they all mean the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking on, basically that college football is pro football, because that is certainly the case now with the NIL and everything. Has it touched you yet at the academy? Because there are some high school situations where they're getting NIL contracts.
Yeah.
One of them was crazy. It was upwards of about $200,000. So
wild.
Yeah. Right.
No, it has not touched us. That's a level that is above me. I don't deal with NIL or agents or anything like that. If an agent was to text me, I would say go talk to our GM. So, there's also the consideration that our guys are international athletes. So their visa situation, it's all different if you're an international kid, essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's above me. Like, honestly. That's for our GM.
That's got to be such a weird, like, as a GM, you're recruiting high school kids. The thought that you'd even have to entertain the idea of other places giving them, a couple $100K to maybe play football at that level. Like, you're hoping they continue to grow, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
If somebody were to have thrown money at me in my sophomore year, right? I weighed like 150 pounds.
Well, I mean, honestly, it was, we kind of had when I was a kid growing up, I was 17 and I wanted to play for amateur, but kind of semi-professional amateur soccer team, super low club level, super low club level, like the 20th tier of English football. And I got paid £10 a game to play, which is I don't know, $15 a game. And I was like, I have made it. I'm on it. I've done it. I'm making $15 a game to play. That's it.
Oh.
At 17 for a men's team. I was like, and I wasn't even that good. I was a goalkeeper, but I was 5'9". So I was, a size mismatch for everyone. So there you go. But yeah, no, it is wild. It must be wild being one of these big time high school coaches in Georgia, Florida, Texas, and kids come up to you. It's like, yeah, I'll pay for you, but you got to buy me a car. I'm like, what? You can't even drive yet. So how am I going to, what are you going to do with this car?
Yeah.
It's going to sit in the garage and look pretty. That's it.
Yeah. But that's what they do now, and they recruit, and kids move all over for the like. You can't tell me that a kid doesn't go from California to Alabama all of a sudden, and no money was. They just up and discover. I really like the state.
Hey, from our point of view, you get to, you get the NFL Shield. That's one of our biggest selling points to players. Like, you get to be partnered with the biggest brand in the sport for life. Like, I'll never not be associated with the NFL now that I've coached here. And for our kids, a lot of them, that if they don't go out and continue to play football, whether it's in America or they go back to their home countries and play for a university team, some of them go and work for the NFL. So we have multiple guys that have graduated from the academy that work in the international department now for the NFL, which is just an awesome career, like, to be in for me. Like,
so, I mean, I guess that brings up, like, how involved is the NFL in the academy?
Oh, I don't know, man. Like,
oh,
I mean, no, it's all funded by the NFL. We're technically employees of the NFL and the college at the same time. They will assist us with a lot of stuff. But again, that's like a GM Chris Durham question. Not for me,
that's fair. That's fair. No, I just wasn't sure if they end up with personnel around or if they bring players out.
Oh, actually, geez, yeah. I mean, I'm sorry. We have, they help out a lot. I mean, I know at the first iteration of the academy in London, they had Jerry Rice come out and visit. And, like, there's no bigger NFL star than Jerry Rice. This year, we were super lucky. We had Peanut Tillman, who obviously Hall of Fame cornerback for the Chicago Bears, inventor of the peanut punch, right? Former FBI agent as well in his spare time. Oh. Super, super cool guy. He came out and coached with us as part of the legacy program for our summer camp and through our first game. He was such an incredible mentor to our players and just an awesome dude to be around. Like, one of my favorite people I've ever got to work with. Coached our corners alongside our DB coaches at whatever, coached our whole team, honestly, like, with all of his experience that he gave us. But that was all set up by the NFL as well. That's just an incredible experience for our kids because they were coached by a Hall of Famer for 3 months, pretty much, like, through the NFL, which was, and, I got to be around him. I learned a tremendous amount from him as well. I guess he doesn't like Peanut Tillman.
He's just like,
he's a great player. I don't know if he's got something against the Bears, but Peanut Tillman was an awesome player and an awesome dude for our kids to be around. And
sometimes there can be connection issues that kick you out of the room.
I got you. Yeah, if Peanut Tillman ever wants to coach, he'll be an incredible coach. But through the NFL, we got to have him at our program for almost a month, and it was just fantastic.
Very cool. So then, when you're getting some of the stateside games, do you try and get like multiple games? So, like, if you were to go play in Florida, do you try and make sure that scheduling wise, maybe you're hitting Georgia before you fly back to the UK? Like, I know that's probably a logistic thing that you're not necessarily a part of, but it would make sense from the outside looking in, rather than kind of what the NFL actually does, where they.
Oh, you're on mute, Bo. Sorry. No one can hear you, just me. It's just me running your show right now. Okay, there you go.
Right. That's because Herb's messing with stuff in the back over there. But yeah, so I mean, but the way the NFL does it, because they don't do multiple games, or if they do them back to back, right? But I mean,
I got you.
From a logistic standpoint, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. So we haven't done it yet. We in terms of our in-season schedule, we haven't done it yet. I know it's something that we're talking about trying to do in the future. I'm not involved in those conversations, but I know it's something that's quite far down the line. So I believe it'll come up at some point in the future. We might play multiple teams in the same stay. It's a big money thing, honestly, because then you're talking about potentially staying in the US for minimum 10 days. Really, you want to be there for 11 days in terms of you acclimatizing, practicing in that heat. Like, for example, when we played in Edgewater, we just did not prepare our kids very well for the heat of Florida in August.
Oh, sure.
And that, that was a big, coming from the UK, even it was like, now I don't know Fahrenheit, But it's about 25 degrees Celsius most of our summer camp. We play in Florida. It's 42 degrees at 6 o'clock in the evening when we're kicking off, and it's a whole different deal. We prepared our kids way better the second time around when we played at IMG, and that was November or October. I'm sorry, it's still super hot. I mean, I still walked outside. I'm like, God, how do people live here year round? This is insane.
And
but
for our American audience, that temperature difference is about 75 to about 95. So that
there you go. There you go. Appreciate it. That's a great translate. That's why you're the host, man. You're just quick with this stuff on the fly. Okay.
That's where living in Mexico comes in handy, because it was all Celsius down there.
There you go. Well, they're smart, so that's how they do it. Okay. So but no, there are other American trips we will do in which we will kind of look into that. So for example, when we go and do our summer tour is our chance for around 25 to 30 athletes to go and participate in multiple recruiting camps, multiple college like mega camps. So we'll schedule that where we're going to hit 5 camps in 7 days, and they may all be around the same spot. Like last year, we did about 5 camps in 6 days in the Midwest. We did another trip, which we were in like the MAC kind of area. We went to, off the top of my head, I can't even think of one that we went to, whatever. And then we did another one where we went to the East Coast. Like we hit Rutgers, we hit Buffalo, so like those different mega camps, those are the trips where we're more focused on hitting multiple different locations. For those games, it's, hey, we're here for 4 days. We're going to work our butts off for 4 days, acclimatize, play the game. That's our only focus. We're not thinking about the next game later on. Like what's important now is one of our pillars of our program. So we're like, okay, we're just going to focus on that. But it doesn't mean that's not going to happen in the future, because like you said, logistically, that would be a really cool thing for the kids as well, to get to live in America for 12 days and play 2 games like a real high school team.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So are you guys using NFL rules, or are you using like your standard college or high school rules? Because the NFL has changed so much, especially, as a special teams coach.
Yeah.
You have to appreciate how much the NFL doesn't look like the NFL.
Oh yeah. No, I'm with you, man. We play a mix, which is annoying, to be honest, because we played just for example, this year, first game of the season, we're playing the Hun School. That is a high school team in which we played on a college football field dimension. So obviously the difference is the NFL, the hashes are 6 yards apart, so there's not really a field and boundary, to be honest. College, it's 13.3 yards apart. High school is 18 yards apart. So the field and boundary in high school is massive. And for me, I'd only previously coached on college fields, because that's the standards in Europe in terms of the professional game and the youth game. I'd coached on NFL-sized fields because that's what the ELF played on. And I actually coached the dynamic kickoff in the ELF as well, which I did a whole lecture about translating dynamic kickoff to NCAA kickoff. There's nothing dynamic about it. It's terrifying playing, honestly. Being the kick return guy is great. Being the kickoff guy is absolutely terrifying in those rules. Like, because the guy hits one seam and he's gone. But so we play the standard high school kickoff rules, which is you kick off from the 40-yard line and it's 10 guys from that kickoff line running down. We played all of our European opponents on college hashes. We played IMG, Edgewater, and St. Thomas on high school hashes. So we have to adjust as coaches, and it's more so on the OC and the DC, but you've got to adjust to 3 extra yards to the field, and 3 yards is that's a big old distance, right? It's a big,
in the NFL, when they used to have the wide hash marks, third downs used to be a dive play to the middle just so your kicker could actually make the kick.
Yep.
Because it was such an off angle kick. Yep. So I would imagine from a coaching point, that's got to be terrible.
It's difficult. It's frustrating, but it's just one of the challenges that you face as well. Another thing that we face is in Europe, if a guy jumps offside, you have a free play, like in the NFL. You have the opportunity to just throw a fade, unless the play is stopped because he's right at the quarterback.
Right.
Like, you know, and also he can get back. If we don't snap it, he can actually get back onside. In high school rules, the guy jumps offside, plays dead, 5 yards. So we got to know in each game which one we play in, because we do some hard counting in our offense. You know, we do a little bit of hard counting. We did like 3 hard counts in a row against IMG, got every one. We just rolled 15 yards up the field, which was really fun. But you know, we got to know which one we're in, because it's different one game, it's different the other game.
Yeah.
It's harder. It's hard for our kids as well, right? Like, you know, your alignment as a DB, maybe, hey, find the middle of the field safety, I'm going to be 3 yards inside number 2. But hey, now we're on high school hashes, I got to be 5 yards inside number 2, or I'm head up on 2, or you know, we have to adjust there. And our kids do a great job of adjusting. Like the way we practice, the way we force our kids to be at practice, and the speed at which we go and do everything, we put a lot of ownership on them. They did a great job of adjusting this year. It hurts you when your opponent has really, really good players in space. So IMG have got a receiver called Eric McFarland, who is a 5-star. He reclassed to go up 1 class, and he's still the best receiver in that class. We played against him. He scored 3 touchdowns in 1.5 against us. And he's just ridiculous in space, super fast, you know, really, really hard to tackle. You got to gang tackle him. Really, really good football player. But him playing in space on a high school field, it's just not fair. Like, it ain't. He's a dude. Aquinas had guys like that. The Hun School had guys like that. But then we have guys like that as well. You know, we got Jamil Secker, who's a 27 receiver who has a USF offer. He's a super freakishly fast guy in space as well. So, you know, when you go and play on the NFL, like I've done in the ELF, you go and play on that dimension of field, the way you call defense changes. Mm-hmm. You know, like trips to the boundary isn't as much of a big deal as it is in high school football, because there is no boundary, there is no field. You know, so it's kind of weird a little bit, because you're having to adjust game to game, but we just roll with it. Like, we don't complain. We just, okay, we're this game, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So before we get out of here, because we are up at the top of the hour here, let everybody know where it is they can find you, so they can kind of track what it is you do. Got you. All right. Well, I mean, on Instagram and Twitter, we're just the NFL Academy. Like, that's what we are. We have a website. You know, the NFL Academy itself, there's our, I don't know if you can see. I'm trying. It's not working on my background. The NFL Academy itself actually has 2 sites. We have our UK site, which is our Europe and Africa-based squad. And then we have our Gold Coast, which is in Australia. We have a smaller academy there. It's separate, but still under the NFL Academy's wing. It's about 9 or 10 athletes there, focusing on bigger guys. So there's a lot of O-line, D-line, tight end type guys there. 2 of them just transferred to our program, actually, because they graduated from that program. So we're hopefully going to have more guys coming over every year. But we're just the NFL Academy on Instagram and Twitter. And then our website is NFL Academy. We're not hard to find. We're here. And we'll play anyone, anytime, any place. That's our motto. So if there are any high school coaches here that want to play us, we're right here, man. We want to play you guys, okay? We just want to play as many games as we can. We'll play 20 games a year if we could. As much film for our kids as we can possibly get. That's what we want.
I like
That's awesome. And of course, that does get us to the top of the hour. If you're listening on the radio, 97.3 ICU radio, we do have some smooth jazz headed your way. If you're watching on any other platform, be sure to like and subscribe. Helps us bring our content to you. Coach, we appreciate your time this morning.
That was great, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Other than that, we will see you all tomorrow. Take it easy, everybody.